The quietest person in the room is usually the most powerful one. Here is the psychology behind it. Have you noticed that the person who understands emotions best is often the one saying the least? Not the loudest one, not the fastest one, the quiet one. While everyone else rushes to react, they pause. And that pause gets misread all the time. People assume they are shy, unsure, maybe even intimidated. But that is usually not what is happening. What is happening is stranger than that. They are listening for what the room is trying not to say. They are watching the gap between words and tone. And by the time they finally speak, they already know where the tension is, who feels threatened, who wants approval, and who is pretending to be calm. That is why their words seem to land harder, because their silence was never empty. It was analysis. Silence gives them data. Most people think silence means absence. Emotionally intelligent people know it often means bandwidth. Picture a team meeting. One person is pitching ideas nonstop. Another keeps joking. Someone nods too much. Someone else says almost nothing. The quiet person is not doing nothing. They're noticing who gets tense when responsibility comes up, who talks over people only when status is on the line, who suddenly becomes agreeable when the boss enters. Those details disappear if you're too busy performing. And that's the first hidden reason emotionally intelligent people stay quiet. Silence gives them access to data. Silence is not passive when your attention is working. They don't let emotions drive. Emotion moves faster than language. That's why so many people say the wrong thing in the right moment. An emotionally intelligent person still feels anger, embarrassment, rejection, threat. They just don't hand it the microphone. Think about getting a message that says, "We need to talk." Most people react instantly. They fill in the blanks, they panic, or they become defensive. But emotionally intelligent people often go quiet first because they know the nervous system lies when it feels cornered. They need a second to ask themselves, what exactly am I feeling right now? Not, I feel bad, but I feel dismissed. I feel disrespected. I feel exposed. I feel replaced. And that changes everything. Emotionally intelligent people stay quiet long enough to separate the feeling from the decision. Timing creates impact. Here's where people get fooled. Social life often rewards quick expression before it rewards depth. That's why talkative people are often mistaken for confident people, and confident people are often mistaken for wise people. But those things are not automatically the same. Emotionally intelligent people learn something crucial. Not every moment deserves their energy, and not every silence makes them smaller. Sometimes speaking too early only makes you part of the noise, because timing changes impact. What sounds weak in chaos can sound powerful 3 minutes later. The loudest person usually controls attention. The calmest person often controls direction. But there's one thing emotionally intelligent people do right before they finally speak, and most people never notice it. They read motives, not just words. There's another reason emotionally intelligent people go quiet. They are reading motives, not just words. Someone says, "Do whatever you want." The words sound permissive, but the tone is cold. The face tightens. The eyes look away. Suddenly, the sentence means something completely different. Emotionally intelligent people notice that mismatch. They're not only asking, "What did you say?" They're asking, "Why did you say it like that? Why now? What's sitting behind it?" Words tell you the story. Behavior tells you the motive. Emotionally intelligent silence creates room for patterns to appear. Silence with purpose. Now, here's an important distinction. Quiet is not always emotional intelligence. Sometimes quiet is fear. Sometimes it's shut down. Sometimes it's resentment. Think about two people in an argument. One goes silent because they're overwhelmed, they shut down, they disappear into themselves. That's not emotional intelligence, that's avoidance. The other goes silent because they know if they speak right now, they will say something they can't take back. So they pause, they breathe, they wait for clarity. That's emotional intelligence. So what makes emotionally intelligent quietness different? Purpose. It is not silence forever. It is silence until the response is clean. In a relationship, one person gets triggered and unloads everything at once. The emotionally intelligent partner might simply say, "Give me a minute. I want to answer this well, not fast." That's not avoidance. That's regulation. Real self-control is not silence instead of truth. It is silence before truth. Why their words carry weight. And that leads to the final reason their quietness has weight. When emotionally intelligent people finally speak, they usually say less, but mean more. Because by then, they've already done the internal work. They have sensed, processed, sorted, chosen. That's why they can walk into a tense room, say one sentence, and completely change the direction of the conversation. Not something dramatic, something precise, something true. They don't speak to fill space. They speak to move reality. So, why do emotionally intelligent people stay quiet? Because silence helps them notice. Because silence helps them regulate. Because silence helps them decode motives. And because silence makes their words more accurate when they finally choose to use them. What looks like hesitation is often restraint. What looks like softness is often control. And what looks like distance is sometimes the deepest form of attention in the room. If this made you see quiet people differently, you will want to watch the next one. Because the next video reveals something even more surprising about the people who never raise their voice, but always seem to win. Subscribe to Nexora Mind and turn on notifications so you do not miss it. Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one holding the room together.